All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Would the clerk please take a roll call?
Councilwoman Aaron?
Here.
Mayor Potem Bliss?
I'm here.
Councilman Fleming? Councilor Rohrbach?
I'm here.
Councilman Soltis?
Here.
Councilor Wright? Mayor Grabstein?
Could I please get a motion to excuse the mayor and Councilman Fleming?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion to excuse Mayor Grabstein and Councilman Fleming. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
You're on aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You're on.
Yes.
Sorry, there was no room for discussion. Is there a possibility to have a conversation? Too late now.
If you'd like to make a separate motion.
I would like to make a separate motion to approve the excuse absence of Councilor Wright. I did give notice.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? For me, my challenge, sorry. you can-
No, go right ahead.
For me, my challenge with Councilor Wright and the exclusion is if any one of us would have run into car trouble or any type of situation at all of the people from the public here would have been waiting for nothing because we wouldn't have been able to have a meeting. And while the others were due to observance of a religious holiday, he made the choice while he could attend to not attend. And so I will be voting no.
You're on.
Yes.
For the most part, whenever anybody gives notice, regardless of their specific reason, I've never heard the reason why any specific person has been excused. As long as they give notice, we have excused their absence, so it seems like a double standard.
Yeah, were you aware that Councilor Wright was not going to attend tonight's meeting, or was Councilor Kimberly, oh, sorry, were you the only one aware that he was not attending today?
Well, he had mentioned at the last meeting, but then the mayor had asked him to come. So that's where it was left, at least as far as me. I mean, I did see him at the Trail Tunes fundraiser, but we didn't talk about this. Any other discussion?
Right. Just for historical relevance, I don't ever, what does it even mean that we voted, maybe the lawyer can help me out, what does that even mean if we say, no, I don't accept his absence?
Well, it'd be reported on the minutes as having an unexcused absence, and that'd be a public record.
But I mean, it has to be the majority, right? It just can't be, if it's unexcused, it has to be the majority, correct?
Correct. Well, technically you would have to have a motion to unexcuse. If you didn't take any action, it'd be unexcused, so essentially you take action on whether or not it's being excused or not. So you could just remain silent or you're unexcused, you're taking a motion to say you're excusing it, and it's up to the body to determine if you are or not.
Right, in terms of the majority.
Correct.
If Councilor Rohrbach would like, we could table this motion to the next meeting, and then allow Councilor Wright to weigh in.
I don't think it's necessary. I just think we should vote on that tonight, decide how we want to proceed. I don't think it's, I mean, people have missed a meeting before. It's not the end of the world, but I think, we made a motion, we have a second, I'm ready to vote on it.
Any other discussion? All right, I will get-
No, it's personal because at the same time, in which it doesn't really matter at this point, This is my birthday weekend. I forgo my vacation, my trip to go out because I knew that 2 members of council was not gonna be here. So to make certain that we keep a quorum, after hearing Mayor last week, I decided that I would not go to Chicago, stay home to make certain that I'm here. I understand Councilor Wright's stance and his reasoning for not, for being in support of the Jewish holiday, and I applaud him for that. But his demonstration of support, I believe that it could have been done in better taste. That could be.
All right, any further discussion, or can we vote on this?
Just 1 second. I'll double check something for you. Just checking to make sure. I don't believe that there's a provision in the charter that sets limitations on your attendance. There are for boards and committees. I just want to check on it, so that it won't have an impact other than the public perception of whether or not he's been attendance excuse or excuse.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion fails, 2-2. All right, approval of the agenda, invocation and pledge of allegiance. Councilwoman Aaron will be giving that today. If everybody was able, could please stand.
God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. Help us to see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence of your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any additions or deletions to this agenda?
Your Honor, I would like to pull the proclamation, item number 2, off of the consent agenda, please.
Okay. Would that, to City Manager, would that go under Communications 6 then?
Yes.
All right, I don't believe we need a vote on that, just a member of council pulling it up.
Correct.
Great, all right. So then we move on to presentations. I don't see any, there are no public hearings. So with that, we will open the meeting to the public. If you could, please give your name and your address when you come up, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. All right, meeting's open to the public. It's not a rush to the podium, so I suspect we don't have any public comments. All right, I will close the meeting to the public. What is the will of council on the remaining 2 items on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, I move
Yes.
that council approves the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Your Honor, a second.
All right. We have a motion from Council Rohrbach and a second by Councilwoman Aaron. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes 4-0. Communications 5. The Finance Director, Government Finance Officers Association Budget Board.
It is my honor to ask council to present the Government Finance Officers Association's distinct Distinguished Budget Presentation Award to Linda Knuth of the Finance Department. This award represents the fact that Madison Heights, year after year, probably for 30 years now, has met the best practices throughout the country in our budgeting and financial practices. So with that.
Awesome. Well, I'd welcome her to come on down, and let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, so that brings us to number 6, which is, which was the one that we pulled off? Was it number 3?
Number 2.
Number 2, the proclamation for Michigan Library Appreciation.
October 2022 is designated October Michigan Library Association Month. It's a month to celebrate the contributions that public, school, academic, tribal, cooperative, and special libraries bring to our communities. Libraries are now dynamic centers of discovery and lifelong learning. They have grown much more than just books. They serve as concert venues, art galleries, tourist destinations, meeting spaces, community living rooms, maker spaces, study rooms, and much more. Libraries now offer patrons much more than just to borrow books. Our library includes loaning of tablets, laptops, mobile hotspots, and will soon sport a new maker space when we get finished with the renovations. Michigan libraries are indispensable to education and cultural institutions in the heart of our community, and it offers our residents a place to gather, socialize, study, and learn. So, resolved, the City of Madison Heights proclaims October 2022 as Michigan Library Appreciation Month. During this time, we encourage all of our residents to visit the Madison Heights Public Library. It is open regardless of the fence around part of the parking lot. So go in and check out our new services.
Awesome. Well, come on down. Round of applause, everybody. Yeah, although it's not the most inviting facade right now, I can tell you that the staff inside is incredibly inviting. So if you haven't been to our library in a while, go soon, because eventually it's going to look very different. So check it out in the historic sense while you can. Awesome. We have no reports. There's no items for future public hearings, so we move on to bid awards and purchases. Report on from the DPS director, scheduled replacement of loader number 409.
Approved as part of the fiscal year 2023 budget includes the scheduled replacement of loader 409, which is currently a 2003 Caterpillar front-end loader with a removable 3-yard bucket, forks, and claw that has been funded through the General Fund Streets Division. This loader has been heavily utilized year-round, handling materials at the DPS yard, performing heavy leaf collection and snow removal. This machine is 19 years old and is in extremely poor condition. Staff and I request that City Council approve the purchase of one Volvo L70H front-end loader with the identified options from Alta Equipment of New Hudson, Michigan through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract for a total of $241,851. Funds are budgeted and available for this scheduled replacement.
Perfect. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that council approves the purchase of Volvo L70H front-end loader with identified options from Alta Equipment of New Hudson through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for a total equipped cost of $241,851. Can't say it, sorry.
It all worked out.
Thank you.
All right, is there a second?
A second, Your Honor.
Okay, so motion from Council Rohrbach, a hard-fought motion, and a second by Councilwoman Aaron. Is there any discussion from council on this loader? Are we not making a contingent that we get to drive it? Is that, we're not doing that this time? Okay. You'd like to go up?
It's a hard no.
It's a hard no, but maybe you could share, it's $250,000, but it's 19 years old. Maybe you could share for the residents what benefits they're gonna have now that we're upgrading this after 19 long years.
Yeah, so the benefits we're gonna receive on this is that we're getting to the point of constant maintenance. The loader at this point, Your Honor, requires 4 new tires 4 new tires on a loader of this size costs roughly $10,000 to $15,000 for just tires. You get into transmissions, you get another failing pieces on this thing, that adds up very quickly. So with the new loader, we've vetted loaders, we've had loaders come in, Caterpillar, John Deere, Case, and Volvo, all of them come in, and we've checked with contractors, we've checked with other municipalities who are utilizing the Volvos, and their heads and tails, in our opinion anyways, better than the Cat, which is the Cadillac of heavy equipment. Better than the John Deere, better than the Case. Just an all-around better piece of equipment, in our opinion.
Awesome.
Your Honor,
Yes.
to put you on the spot, I mean, not to put you on the spot. How many hours, a season or a year, do you think this thing is gonna go through?
Well, can you predict the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, so it's.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's depending on our winter seasons, Mr. Soltis, it's hard to say how many hours we'll get in every year. We use this piece of equipment for leaf season. The claw attachment, for example, it's drastically improved our cleanup time for leaves. As we go neighborhood to neighborhood, rather than the leaf vacs, which take a little bit more time, the claw attachment on the front end loader makes that process go a lot quicker, a lot smoother. It's not as tidy, it's not as clean, but it is a lot more, it's a lot quicker in that process. Once the leaves are all fallen from the trees, then we'll come back and do the fine cleanup with the sweepers and the leaf vac attachments on the back of the trucks. In the winter time, we're using it for snow removal. In the summertime, we're using it for loading of materials. So it depends on the seasons. It depends on how many hours we get on it. It depends on the construction season. But they're valuable and essential piece of equipment for the DPS, and we're imperative that we have this piece of equipment.
Cool. And I heard in my head, that's just similar to how we do, the fire appreciation day, where we put on the uniforms and stuff, and we do police ride-alongs. We're gonna get to use some of this heavy machinery at some point, right?
We'd love to have you.
You really wouldn't, trust me, but it'll be fun. We'll enjoy that. All right, any other comments from council? All right, we have a motion on the table and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, number 7, also the DPS. This is the phased replacement of DPS concrete.
Over the last 2 budget cycles, and again in 2023, the DPS has budgeted to replace the concrete around the DPS facility in different phases, not the same every years. The city currently has a contract with Ciparoni for concrete work that was competitively bid at unit cost. Therefore, staff and I are recommending City Council award this phase for 2022 DPS concrete replacement project to Ciparoni Contracting at their established unit prices in an amount not to exceed $95,000. Funds are budgeted and available for this scheduled replacement.
All right, what is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
For the hat trick, right? Council Rivera.
I'll try and say the words correctly this time. So staff, sorry, I move that council awards the 2022 DPS concrete replacement project to Ciparoni Contracting at established unit prices in an amount not to exceed $95,000.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
All right, staying consistent. Okay.
I said keep it going.
Any comments from council? Any discussion? Cool. We have a motion on the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 4-0. Oh, we're making this really easy. Awesome. So we don't have anything else, so we can just end with closing comments. We will start with the birthday lady, Councilwoman Aaron.
I'm sorry, before we move, do we do the finance director, government finance?
Yep.
Where was I at?
We're moving so fast. It's a blur. But yeah, we did do that.
Okay. And I seconded it.
I'm pretty sure you did, yeah. Statistically likely.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you.
Well, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First, I want to say happy Rosh Hashanah to all of our Jewish community. May your new year be a great year for you all. I really don't have many closing comments today. As you can tell, I really had a fabulous birthday. I have no voice, and I'm loving it. So, to everyone else, thank you for all the birthday wishes. And Drill Tunes was very nice. Thank you to the Arts and Library Board. No, that's not true. To the Arts Board for putting on the event. It was really nice, the fundraiser. I won a lottery ticket read, and they had approximately 10 tickets on there. And so far, I have won a total of $65. Wow. So I'm glad about my read. And I got a read for Halloween, so I do.
Donated by our city manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's sad that she didn't keep some of those tickets, I think.
Yes.
That's
Awesome. And yeah, I can tell you had a really good time at that Mary J. Blige concert.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Mr. Burns?
No report tonight from legal.
All right. Mrs. Marsh?
No comment.
Our clerk?
Yep, I just wanted to say that the clerk's office is getting ready to send out the first mailing of absentee ballots. So if you haven't already made an application for one and you want to, you can get an application online. You can come into our office and get one, or you can call us and we can send you an application. You must have an application before we can send you a ballot. That's it.
Awesome. Councilor Rohrbach?
I just want to wish L'Shana Tova to all of our Jewish friends, Happy New Year, may it be sweet. And I wanted to say thank you to the library staff for helping the Friends of the Library's book sale. I know they all pitched in to really make that, pull that off. And not all the Friends of the Library were available to make it happen, and I think it was a successful event, so thank you so much for all of that. I'm getting very excited about the work in the library and just what's gonna come of that, so. And I also want to wish and congratulate the Women's Club of Madison Heights, happy 45th anniversary. They're celebrating 45 years tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I can't make it to their celebration, but this club does so much in our city, does so much work as individuals. The folks that make up the club do so many hours of volunteer work. They raise money, they do wonderful things for people, individuals, groups in our community, and I just want to say thank you to members and the group as a whole for your many, many years of service here in our city. Thank you.
Councilman Soltis, anything tonight?
Just a couple of things, kind of more of a bigger picture. I don't know if everyone is into science, but anyhow, look, you should really check this out. The NASA is sending out a dark rocket into an asteroid, so it's supposed to be like a preceding defense system that they're implementing, which is kind of cool. Another thing, I'm teaching, and I also heard the rumors that I think on the federal level they're looking at banning cell phones in the school for the kids, the students. I don't know how that's ever going to work, but that's something in the pipeline on the state of Michigan. So, and that's all.
If my kids are any indication, banning cell phones just leads to pain and suffering for every adult. So. I don't know if that's consistent in the schools, but yeah, I'll start with happy Rosh Hashanah to all of our colleagues who are celebrating and couldn't be with us tonight. I want to point out this gavel right here. I brought it from my house. It's actually older than that loader that we were talking about earlier. My dad got this for me when I started chairing meetings with the youth group organization within the JCs back in the day. And so I like to bring it with me when I get to chair one of these meetings. Nice reminder of where we come from and where I came from. I want to talk about Trail Tunes Off the Trail. As Councilwoman Aaron pointed out, it was a lot of fun. We raised more than $1,000 for Trail Tunes. And it was just a good time that everybody had. We had 3 of the musicians who were playing at Trail Tunes, playing there. We had a ton of auction items, and in that donation battle, the baskets that we talked about, you know, we had baskets from, Councilwoman Aaron, Councilman Fleming. I threw one in there, City Manager Marsh, and in the end, the victor was Councilwoman Aaron with a Motown tour. I don't know why none of us thought of that, but it was, as you can imagine, very popular at a music-themed event. So, well done and hats off. Also, appreciate Councilor Wright dropping by, and I appreciate Mayor Grafstein making sure that she got us a donation before going out of town celebrating the holiday. Also, want to point out, Trail Tunes is on Sunday. I hope I don't have to point it out. I hope everybody's already planning on attending. But it's going to be a great time. We've got 12 musicians this year, alternating timelines, so there's always going to be 6 of them playing at any given time. And every one of them played in either our first and second year. So for the first year ever, it's all returning musicians that you've seen on the trail before, which is very exciting to us, because A, it tells us we put on a good enough festival that these musicians want to keep coming back, and B, it tells you that all these were great musicians that you've seen before, and hopefully encourages those at home to want to come on out on Sunday from 2 to 6. I also have these beautiful t-shirts that we are selling, 2 for $40 or $25 each to support Trail Tunes. It's got all the band names on them, festival dates, really cool colors. I'm a big fan of the colors. So if you want to pick one up, I have some tonight, but you can also just pick them up at Trail Tunes. We'll have them at the art sport table for sale, along with all of the older Madison Heights shirts and water bottles that we're running very low on inventory with. But really excited for that. And finally, last but certainly not least, I left my wife's birthday celebration to come here. I told her I would run a half-hour meeting, and I get to come back and put the kids to bed and then celebrate her birthday some more, have some cake and that. So I am going to wish my wife, Allie Bliss, a happy birthday, another 29th. She looks just as phenomenal as she did in the first 29th birthday. And I'm really excited to get back home to her. So with that, unless there's any business from anybody else, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.